Great about it this day only? Well, it's only for today. And our day is really almost over. So we have 1 hour to lock in this price. We're gonna go back in time. We're gonna go back 70 years, 70 years.
Exactly.
And Deborah Roberts is here to take you shopping. She's gonna tell you about our Tupperware pressure cooker. Now, first of all, I have never heard of such a thing, a Tupperware pressure cooker, but somehow, Deb, Tupperware is always reinventing our favorite appliances.
Exactly. Well, you know, remember, they were the ones that started storage over almost 80 years ago. I mean, and they are such an iconic brand, but they created a microwave pressure cooker. So microwave, fastest tool in the kitchen for cooking, right? Pressure cooker, one of the fastest methods for cooking. The combination of the two are a dynamic duo. What I'm making for you right now, Sarah, is a meal in minutes. We are adding dry rice. I put raw chicken. I'll do the peas after because I don't want them to get mushy. I'm gonna add 2 cups of water to this, and I'm gonna give it a quick stir, and this is all the prep that I'm gonna do to this. And then I'm gonna secure the pressure cooker lid. It actually has a seal. It has all kinds of safety valves built in. You're gonna lower the handle. We're gonna pop this in this microwave over here, and I'm gonna set it for 10 minutes. And the rice is gonna be fluffy. The chicken is gonna be cooked through. It is gonna have so much nutrient retention, more than any other method of cooking. And again, we're not heating up the house. It's absolutely goof-proof, and that will be delicious in 10 minutes.
Okay. This is like blowing my mind right now. This is a pressure cooker for the microwave. Okay, forget everything you ever thought about a pressure cooker, that it has to be this big, ugly, bulky appliance, that you have to plug it in, that you have to set it. And before you could even put any food in, you have to wait sometimes 10, 15 minutes.
20 minutes.
For the pressure to build before it actually starts doing anything. While your other old-fashioned pressure cooker is heating up, you've already cooked a full meal.
Exactly, because the microwave is going to actually heat this faster than your stove is going to. In here, what I have for you, Sarah, is I put country pork ribs in here. So I put 2 pounds of pork ribs in here. I put a little bit of stock. I set the timer for 20 minutes, and wait till you see this falling apart meat. What happens with pressure cooking, this is gonna be a little bit of a lesson. When you pressure cook, the steam that normally happens in cooking, what happens is when the steam can't escape, it actually goes in and breaks down the surface tension of the food that you're cooking, infusing it with tremendous flavor. And now I have pork that is as tender as butter. We can make a little pulled pork sandwich, but I'd really love for you to just take one teeny little taste of that pork. I've got a fork right down here.
Yes, I will find a fork and I'll dive right in.
So what you're going to be able to do, Sarah, is you're going to be able to cook faster. Your food is going to be more tender. You're not heating up the house. You can even put all the food in here.
Right.
You can have your teens come home with a little note on it, you know, set the microwave to 10 minutes. And you don't have to worry about them burning the house down, because when the microwave turns off, it stops cooking.
That is so good.
Isn't that delicious? 20 minutes.
You made that in 20 minutes.
20 minutes. And look, it's like butter. And you know,
it
Sarah,
takes me 20 minutes to walk the dog when I get home from work. I could have made a pulled pork dinner.
Exactly, in 20 minutes. Now, these country ribs are one of the least expensive things in the grocery store. And right now, I have to say, I love to grocery shop. Probably, I loved it as much as most women like clothing shopping. But because the prices are so high anymore, I'm constantly trying to see how I can make my budget stretch. And by buying the country ribs without the bone, to cook them in here in 20 minutes, to have them infused with flavor like that, it is saving you money. It is saving you time. It is absolutely effortless. You just set the timer, you walk away.
Oh my gosh, all you need is a microwave.
That's all you need.
You don't have to turn it on the stove.
Everybody has one.
You don't have to plug this in. You're getting a national brand. Certainly a Tupperware is a name brand that we've known and loved and trusted. Certainly one of the most respected brands when it comes to kitchen goodies and appliances and accessories. Right now, I just had the best pork of my life. That was so delicious. That was so tender. Here's what we're doing today. We're giving you $50 off for 1 hour only. $50 off if you order now. I've got one for you. This has been very popular. For those of you that always want to try pressure cooking, but actually when I tried it, it was a lot more fussy and a lot more time consuming than I thought it was. They always just advertise how much time it takes to cook something. They never actually advertise how much time it takes to get everything going, to build up the steam, to build up the heat. You are going to get a huge customer pick, saving you time, saving you money in the long haul, because now you're going to be able to cook all the food that's in your refrigerator, and you're going to have something that feels and tastes homemade. You're going to keep your food fresher longer. You get the instructions, you get everything you need to get started. I was reading some of the reviews. My favorite one just said, "Where have you been all my life?"
I love it. I absolutely agree. You know, I have been selling pressure cookers on television for about 30 years now. I have sold over 100,000 cookbooks on pressure cooking, and anyone who really knows me knows I walk the walk. But of all the pressure cookers that I have, this is my favorite. And the reason it's my favorite is it requires the least amount from me. My electric pressure cookers, every now and then I've got to play with the lid a little bit to get the, you know, you hear that hissing, there's still a little stress there. Have you heard anything? Can you smell anything? I mean, the microwave is going. This takes up a lot of real estate in your kitchen. What are you using it for? Coffee?
Yeah,
you know, you're using it to microwave your leftovers. Now, this beautiful beef stew, and I really want you to taste this.
All right.
I put this, this is
my arm.
some beautiful, I use sirloin in there. And look at the color in the carrots. You know, when you're pressure cooking, folks.
How long did that take?
That's 20 minutes from start to finish, through everything in there.
20 minutes.
But wait till you taste that.
Okay.
And the carrots cooked at the same rate as the beef. Isn't that beautiful?
How come I did not know that we could do this in the microwave?
Well, this is because this was created by Tupperware. Tupperware has been one of our favorite brands of all time. Why? Quality, 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 and standing behind the product. Innovation. The polymers that have gone into creating this innovation is unbelievable.
It's quite substantial.
It is very substantial.
It's not like your Tupperware salad bowl.
No, this is an entirely different material.
Serious
and they
little
work
machine here.
really hard, Sarah, to create products that make a difference in the home. They want everyone to have a better life. And by being able to get healthier food because you're locking in the water-soluble nutrients, by being able to get better tasting food because it's not blowing away in the steam, and by making your life easier by being able to do what I'm just doing right now. You know what this is? This is a cake mix. And you're going, what the heck are you doing? A microwave cake, if you've never had one before, cooks in 7 to 10 minutes. But under pressure.
Okay, wait. Stop everything.
Yeah, stop everything.
A
Hold
microwave
everything. Microwave cake.
Takes 7 to 10 minutes?
7 to 10 minutes. And if you tasted that coffee cake right there, the crumb is absolutely one of the finest crumbs. It actually comes out very similar to a sponge cake. It's just so tender. And again, you're not heating up your house. Right? We haven't turned on the oven.
No.
We're saving electricity. Microwaves draw little to no extra power in your home. You're not heating up the house, increasing your air conditioning. You're gonna save money all the way around. I will certainly stake my career on the fact that if you buy this and you make any of the recipes that I've posted on hsn.com, you'll be going, I cannot believe I've lived without this product. You know what I use it for sometimes, Sarah?
What?
Just doing for side dishes. I'll just do my carrots in 5 minutes because they come out, where the steam doesn't escape, they get more flavor. They get
so you get the
more
same flavor
nutrients
of like a slow cook, of a pressure
cooker. But you're doing it in the microwave.
You're doing the microwave in a fraction of the time.
And don't you think to yourself, microwaves are not the healthy way to cook? Typically, it's not, because they cook from the inside out. Not on this. They heat the pressure cooker, and the pressure cooker cooks the food.
We're getting very busy. Customer pick means that it's getting rave reviews. I read some of them before the show. Another one said game changer. I finally found a ton of recipes on the internet, so there's a ton of recipes for this particular pressure cooker. This has a fan following. People are obsessed with their Tupperware pressure cookers. Another one said, perfect for someone who wants real food but gets home late.
Yes.
That's me, right?
Yep.
Am I gonna make something for an hour? I don't have time to cook something for an hour. Also, this would be easy to heat up if you made something and everyone's eating at different times.
Precisely.
Wouldn't you agree?
And again, you can even store your leftovers in if you wanted to. But what I would do for my when my grandkids now are in their 20s, so they're really becoming really good little cooks. But when they were younger, I could have put everything in here and said, put it in the microwave when you get home and have a really delicious, hot and nutritious dinner. Now, this is one of the recipes I just posted. This is chicken breast. You take chicken breast or thighs, a can of your coconut milk, fish sauce, Thai red curry, and there's onions, peppers, and broccoli in here. And look at that beautiful Thai curry. I mean, I want you to taste the sauce.
How long did that take?
That is 10 minutes.
You made Thai curry in 10 minutes.
Without dirtying pots, pans. Here, take a little sip of this broth. This broth right here.
Oh, I
is
love
just
curry.
Beautiful.
I love, love, love curry.
Now, you couldn't get someone to deliver that quickly. What are you going to pay to have that delivered?
Oh, I love that little tang that comes at the end of the curry.
You know what I did is I grow my own kaffir lime leaves, so it does give you a little.
Of course you do.
A little kick. I love Thai
I wouldn't
food.
know a kaffir lime leaf if it hit me in the head.
You're so adorable.
Look how amazing this is.
All
Can you
apart.
make rice in this?
Rice in 10 minutes. We can do it live.
Rice
when
in
that
10
rice
minutes.
comes out.
Okay.
You can do.
So this is your rice cooker. This is your pressure cooker. This is also baking. We just made a cake in 7 to 10 minutes. Have you ever had a last-minute friend come over for dinner, for lunch, and you're like, what on earth am I going to throw in the oven? Do you want to spend an hour in the kitchen? To me, time is money. And if you're all coming home late from work and you still want something healthy, you could put in any raw chicken, any raw beef, any raw vegetables.
You know what I do?
And so what do you put in, some stock?
I'll take chicken breasts, put them in there. I'll put a jar of salsa in there, a little fresh cilantro, and 10 minutes, you've got chicken tacos. But their flavors, it's not just that it's easy cooking, folks, because you know what? I am a professional cook who has a catering business, and I love cooking more than I love life. I love food. I love to cook. I love to cook for people. And what I like best about a pressure cooker is not the speed, not the ease. Sarah, it's the intense flavor. When you taste this corn will have more flavor than any corn you've ever had before. When I used to work for a very famous personality, and I think you remember her from the other network where we worked. One time I made potatoes in the pressure cooker. She goes, "Oh my gosh, Deb, those taste like dirt." And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like a good thing. But what she was trying to say was the potato flavor was so intense. If you pulled it out of the ground, it couldn't have more flavor.
Fresh.
Normally, when you're cooking, Sarah, in on a pot on top of a stove, you have steam that's coming out of there, and that steam is not just flavor. It's also nutrients that are escaping.
You got to go in two hands.
You got to go in. You got to go. But I mean, think about this, Memorial Day weekend. So you do. Isn't that delicious? Isn't that the best corn
If you would have told me this
10 minutes for 4 years.
Corn was made in the microwave, I would have not have believed you if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes.
And in the pressure cooker.
So it doesn't get soggy.
No.
It actually cooks with the pressure of steam. It just does it in the microwave in a fraction of the time.
It does. We did 4 ears of corn in 10 minutes, and the flavor is better than you've ever had
10 minutes?
before.
It would take you more than 10 minutes to just boil a pot of water.
Exactly, and then you cook the corn afterwards.
What's that phrase? A watched pot never boils.
Exactly.
Especially when I'm cooking. It takes forever. I get so hungry.
Now,
can you make pasta in this?
We can. They ask us not to. The reason that I do it, but Tupperware's asked me to not mention it because it can foam up and it would prevent this from happening. So they're so conscientious. They're so conservative. You don't stay in business for 80 years by telling people things that aren't true. Like
this is so crispy.
Isn't that crunchy and delicious and authentic?
Right.
All right, so take a look.
The kernels are just falling off. This is incredible.
We started the presentation and I just dumped a bag of rice in here. I put in the chicken pieces. I've put in the peppers in here. I'm gonna give this a little fluff. And I guess your microwave must be a little lower pressure than mine, because mine is 1200. I'm gonna give this another 3 minutes.
Because every microwave's slightly different.
Everyone's slightly different. So what's the big deal? We go 3 more minutes.
How
you know
about
what
that?
I mean? How about that?
Let me just remind everybody, this is a one-day only price. So if you want to get $50 off the price, $50 off a pressure cooker, that's a big deal. This is a serious machine. This is a tool. This is an appliance. This is not like a flimsy little Tupperware bowl. Not that they're flimsy, but you know what I mean. We have those. We have other great Tupperware storage containers on our website. at hsn.com. This is not that. This actually has a very kind of
very solid polymer.
Solid, very heavy duty, sort of substantial feel to it. Not to mention it has this locking lid. It's got that little pressure valve. Is it easy to clean?
It's super easy to clean. Go right into the dishwasher. But again, this is a very, very sophisticated polymer that these are made from that can substantiate the kind of temperature that we're talking about. This is 5 degrees above the boiling point of water inside of here. And what I've done here was we cooked potatoes in here. The potatoes cook in 10 minutes, but if I had put, say, pickle juice in here, because I was making potato salad, every one of those potatoes would be infused with the flavor of the pickle juice. So it's not just about ease. It's not just about not heating up the house. You're getting more nutrition.
You get all the flavors together.
More flavors in there, and you're utilizing a part of your kitchen that you're not using right now.
Now
What
I
are
need
you
a
using
toothpick.
that for? Coffee? You know, now we're baking a cake in that one. We're making rice in that one. And again, just for rice. If you wanted to just have a really amazing rice experience, you can buy a rice cooker for your for your microwave, but it's going to take a lot longer for it to cook than with ours. It's 2 cups of rice to 4 cups of water. Now, you could add a little oil of that delicious olive oil that you have.
There's only 200 left, by the way, if you want our today's special.
That. I hope I can order it before I get offline, because that is delicious. A little pinch of salt in there, and then you secure your lid. You put your rice in the pressure cooker, and in my kitchen, it's 10 minutes. Now, this one might take 12. Oh, dear. You know, the microwave might be 2 minutes longer, but we're still not talking about half the day. Like,
so you make rice from beginning to end in 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
In most cases, you're still boiling water, right? You're still waiting for the water to boil. This is very, very popular. I'm not surprised. It's a huge customer pick. We're here at under $100, which is $50 off. This is a real pressure cooker. So let me ask you, you might have a rice cooker at home right now. Are you using it? Have you pulled it out of the cupboard since your wedding 20 years ago? Or if you're like me and I wanted to try a pressure cooker, I got one. And then I realized, ooh, this is actually kind of tricky. I have to know all these different settings. I have to figure out exactly the right amount of ingredients to put in, or it's too much, or it's not enough. And then I have to wait for the pressure to build before I can even start the cooking time. What if while your other pressure cooker is heating up, you've already made an entire meal? This is such a huge game changer, I think, for those of us that we have to feed a family. We want to eat healthy. You want to just use any fruit, any vegetables, any meat, any fish, any chicken that's in your refrigerator right now. You can make a hearty stew. You can make a nice, beautiful, rich, whether it's a pork chop, whether it's the potatoes. How long do the potatoes take?
The potatoes were 12 minutes, and there's a lot.
12 minutes.
That's like a lot of potatoes in here.
And you know why I don't make potatoes? Because they take too long.
But you can make mashed potatoes. You can make smashed potatoes. You can make potato salad. You can do carrots in 5 minutes. You can do. But you know what's better about this pressure cooker versus, say, my Instapot? If I put broccoli in my Instapot, even for 5 minutes, it is mush. What's nice about these is they're 5 pounds per square inch on the pressure. So that means things like asparagus and salmon can be cooked in here. Delicate things can be cooked in here and keeping the nutrients.
They don't turn into mush.
They don't turn into mush.
Okay, you're changing everything I ever thought about microwaves. I gotta like rearrange everything I thought I knew about a microwave. You could do a pressure cooker in the microwave. Now, don't put any other pressure cooker in the microwave.
No.
It's not designed. It has to be this.
And it has to be Tupperware. Don't buy any of the other brands. But you could see right here, there was steam coming out the back. Once the pressure is achieved, there is a steam release so that anything over that comes out. So there's the safety. Now, you can see this little toggle up here. See how it's raised? That means there's pressure inside of here. Now, if I were cooking beef stew and I wanted to, say, add more vegetables, I can lift the handle, and this right here, see? Look at the steam. Can you see the steam coming out here? Is that under pressure? I'm telling you, this is a pressure cooker for your microwave, designed by Tupperware. It is brilliant, and we sell them all day long for $150 to $200. This is unbelievable.
As far as I know, Marie, this is the lowest price we've ever done.
Always.
There is no burst of steam like some of your other old, timey pressure cookers. You don't have to watch and you don't have to worry, right? You just literally put it in the microwave. You're not stirring, and it's not going to dry out. When I tried my little pressure cooker idea, back when I first got married, I thought, oh, I'm just gonna turn into, Betty Crocker right here at home. Well, I would open it up, and sometimes I had just, you know, cooked all the moisture out of it.
Exactly.
That's not gonna happen, right?
It'll never
when
happen
it's in the
with this.
microwave.
I mean, look at our chicken. Let's take the piece of this chicken.
Okay.
out. So again, this was raw 12 minutes ago, and this is not just cooked. And if you were to try and cook chicken in the microwave, it'd be like rubber. This is like butter. See how it's just falling apart?
So just because it's in this
the steam,
new fandangled
what
machine.
What happens is the steam that's prevented from escaping breaks down the surface tension of the food that we're cooking. Think of like pressure washing. You got a hose, right? You take a hose to your house, it's not gonna take the paint off, right? Pressure washing, it restrains the water and it gives that force. That's the force that made that tender,
nice little piece
juicy,
of chicken right
falling
there.
a piece in 10 minutes. Now you might be able to cook a piece of chicken on your grill in 10 minutes, but you know what's gonna be happening? It's gonna be chewy. It's not gonna be falling apart. It's not gonna be tender. It's not gonna be full of flavor.
That is delicious. Now, how long did it take you to cook that?
All right, so this was what we did. This was 12 minutes.
Oh wait, we saw you.
We started. All right, so let's get some of this rice out
We saw this 10
here.
minutes ago.
We've got our peas
You
in
made
here.
rice, you made cooked chicken, and you made peas in 10 minutes.
So wouldn't this be a great way to be able to get home if you have a busy life like you do, to be able to eat healthy, to put home-cooked meals on the table, and to be able to do it without dirtying a ton of dishes, without heating up the house here in Florida in the summer, but this is very hot,
You don't even have
Sarah.
to turn the oven on.
So I don't want you to taste
I'll wait a
this
sec.
just yet, but
that
that's
looks delicious.
beautiful. I mean, the rice kernels are spectacular.
Let's read some more reviews.
Yes.
This is from someone who wrote, most outstanding cooking item I've ever had. Now
That's strong.
That's impressive. Most impressive cooking item I've ever had, the one I read earlier. Where have you been all my life? If you're someone who struggles in the kitchen like I do, just to put simple meals together, it's not a natural, intuitive process for me. Sometimes I just end up with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, right? Because I say it's gonna take too long. But what if I could be cooking and eating more whole foods? What if, I know a lot of you like to go to the farmer's market in this summer months. A lot of you do some of the food shares where you pick up all the fresh fruits and vegetables.
Co-ops,
and then you're like, what am I gonna do with all this kale? What am I gonna do with all these potatoes? Now you have an answer to cook all the food that sometimes is going to waste, because in 10 minutes you could rescue anything from the freezer bin and you could put it in here and have a meal in 10 minutes.
And you can see I'm under pressure. I can't get into here until all the steam is released, which makes it safe. One of the things I like to do is always tilt the lid away from me to make sure no steam comes up into your face. But you saw me earlier. This is that cake. Now this cake is cooked all the way through, right?
You made a cake. I cannot get over this.
We made a cake. And not only did we make the cake without turning on the oven, but that cake is going to be so moist. It is going to be so delicious. You're going to absolutely scream. You are going to love this product, Sarah. You're going to be, I've used my pressure cooker that
would be so good with a scoop of ice cream,
or
a little,
maybe some little
whipped
peaches.
cream.
But look at, can you come really close? Can you see the crumb here? Normally cake has like that crumbliness.
Right, it's
this
dry.
Is very similar to like a steamed pudding almost. It is moist. It is tender. This is hot.
So if you have a cake mix in the cupboard right now, you could be eating cake in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes.
You could
is
serve
that
a
a game
quick
changer?
dessert, you know, and then make it your own. Add the fruit, add some little,
I
you know,
do
whipped
fruit
cream.
on the bottom,
Add
like-
some ice cream.
But take it.
Okay.
The
All right.
texture on that is just divine. Talk about
That's a happy
immediate
dance.
gratification.
I have a sweet tooth, so I'm going to be baking in this. I love the idea that
want
you
you to
can
taste this.
cook from raw. Right?
Raw
Now, can you put
and
frozen
dry rice.
meat
Frozen in there too.
You could put frozen in there.
Now on frozen, you do need to add more time, and I can put times up for that. But again, I could have put frozen tenders in there. But isn't that delicious? And isn't the rice cooked perfect?
The rice is perfect. So you don't have to put in ingredients in different times.
No. The pressure, it's like when you think about
That's
a basketball doesn't have so much pressure here and so much pressure here and so much pressure here. Inside this beautiful vessel designed by us for one of the best companies in all of America that has done so much for making you know, women being able to make prosper and stay at home and keep the family together. Now we can keep the family together, keep our budget together, and save energy and eat well. And
honestly, if you just make a few meals in this,
it pays for itself.
It pays for itself. I mean, you make a few meals. What do you spend eating out? What do you spend on Uber Eats and takeout and delivery and
You'll love this.
last minute runs through the drive-thru? What if you went home and you could have a beef stew or you could have pulled pork in 10 minutes? That's a game changer. That's why this has been taking the world by storm. We have it for $50 off this hour only. The price is going up at midnight. We'd love to get that out to you. We also have flexible payments. We also have easy returns. So it's always a great place and a great time to buy Tupperwares here at HSN. Thank you, Deb Murray.
Wonderful. It was so
you did
fun
such
to
a
be
good
with you.
job.
I love this product.
This is a really cool thing.
And the corn?
The corn?
The corn?
Yeah, who took my corn?
I know.
That's my next question.
I'm telling you, it is a real game changer.
It's really good. And if you have some fresh produce coming out of the garden,